I'll just take this out. All right, we still got 2 shield Altaria play. I could, man, like even if they got a Froslass in the back with 2 shields, the problem is I don't know how to take out the Stunfisk. So they're coming Stunfisk for sure. Oh, what? They actually came in. What? Why would they come into a Charmer into a Magnezone? I'm so confused. GG's. You know, what can you do at that point? They had a Stunfisk. Hey everyone, I hope the holiday season has been treating you well. We're going to cover some footage from my Holiday Cup line. I can't say I'm the biggest fan of Holiday Cup just because how strong Charmers are, but I do have a non-charm team that worked kind of well for me at times, and it's featuring Magnezone, which I used a lot in last season as well. So the team is Magnezone with a Unova Stunfisk Safe Swap and an Altaria in the back. The biggest weakness to this team is really a Diggersby lead, but I haven't seen a single Diggersby lead at all. I don't even see a lot of Diggersby in the meta in general. Before I get into battles, a big shout out and thank you to all my patrons who've been supporting my content creation. If you would also like to have early access to some of my strategies and lineups, or see behind the scenes footage of my battles, feel free to sign up in the Patreon link down below. So, Froslass is one of those Pokemon that hits really hard, and Magnezone is also one of those Pokemon that they hit hard, but also are very glassy and not very tanky. So, because of that, you kind of have to shield everything, even if it's Avalanche, and most would tend to go Avalanche there. But your backline is just so weak to Froslass, so you kind of need to stay in here. Again, the attack drop is kind of nice here. This might be still a Shadow Ball, so I am going to stay in here. And then here comes the Alolan Graveler, or Golem. Anytime a user does this, having that Stunfisk counter swap is really solid. Oh, you're not a fan? Because you farm so much energy. That's where Mudshot comes in really handy here on the Stunfisk. It comes in really handy in the mirror, in the lead, as well as Diggersby as a counter swap. Overall, I think Mudshot's just fantastic on Stunfisk, and the Thundershock is not nearly as useful. And they come in with Shadow Aerodactyl, not able to lift the Wild Charge, and then able to finish off the Frost as well. So they even need Altaria for that one. Alright, so A9 lead, especially with Charm, is kind of tough. Most are Charm. There are a few Powder Snow. Powder Snow variants are much easier to handle. Being double weak to mirror shots, usually you get chunking down quite quick, but those Charms are no joke. Again, this meta is very Charm heavy. Charm is just very strong, so you do have to keep an eye out for that. Even for a Steel Pokemon like Magnezone, the fact that it could go down to Charm is kind of nuts. Alright, so finishing off the Stunfisk with just a barely sliver of health for this A9, but they actually come in with Vigoroth, so this is actually quite nice for me. I'm going to no shield all this stuff. Even if they throw a Bulldoze, it's not the end of the world. I do have 2 shields as well. I was just expecting them to potentially swap over, and now I can debuff away and throw the mirror shots and the Weather Ball. Not going to do enough here. I'm committed to a straight farm down here. And I do go for the Wild Charge to grab their shield or take them out. I accidentally led an encounter when I did that, so unfortunately I was not able to get off a mirror shot after that, but it's all good. I have plenty of health left on the Stunfisk. I'm just going to double shield and Mud Shot it down after they didn't shield the Mud Bomb. Alright, Lanturn lead. So even if this is a Water Gun Lanturn, you want to swap to your Stunfisk. Main reason being, I realized that there's quite a few Lanturn double charm lines with Water Gun Lanturn, and as you can see here, even against a Water Gun Lanturn, Stunfisk actually does quite a bit of work because you just outpace the Lanturn to their moves. It's probably just a okay. I thought it was just gonna be a Thunderbolt, but they went straight for the Hydro Pump. But as you can see, as long as you spend 1 shield, you still finish off a little bit under half health, and now you have switch advantage. So. And they come in with low Marowak, so they must be quite weak to Stunfisk, and yeah, they are very, very weak to it. They're putting a lot on the line with their Talonflame here, but able to finish it off. Alright, Tropius lead. They come in with a Graveler here. Usually these insta swaps, there's a lot of ABB teams in Holiday Cup, so especially with Rock Throw, it's probably likely that they have a Golem in the back. That was just my prediction. So what we're going to do is farm up to 100 energy here, take out the Graveler here. Now we're going to start throwing these discharges, but I'm thinking in the back of my head, there might be a chance they have another Rock Electric in the back. So I'm just going to burn the clock as much as I can and then pivot out. Main reason being, My Magnezone and Altaria handle Tropius quite fine, so I don't really mind if my Magnezone gets taken out. In fact, Altaria has an even better matchup than Magnezone does, so I am going to lure out their other Rock Electric, and then now I can lock it back in with my Stunfisk, which is going to be quite nice because I resist all these moves again and able to do very solid against it. I think this line was made by Walwer, from what some of my patrons mentioned. Very strong line, able to lure out the Stunfisk and try to take it out, but as long as you kind of recognize the ability to pivot out in those situations, you could really put in a lot of work against the team. And yeah, it would finish off with Moonblast here. So again, a very standard ABB line. You just kind of have to recognize it and kind of play around it. All right, Venusaur lead. Again, Venusaur, you're resisting all the moves from Venusaur, but Magnezone is very glassy, and they are resisting your Sparks too, and these Mirror Shots are just not the best moves, so you're not going to KO it with Mirror Shots. But I'm going to Shield here, and at this point, I'm going to let... Oh no, I double Shield actually. Yeah, I figured there might have been some play there with the Magnezone, and then I decided to swap in my Stunfisk again into a Graveler. Graveler Golem in this meta is a lot of people's favorite safe swaps, and whenever you can lock it in with a Stunfisk, you're in a very good spot. Farming it all the way down, finishing off with like 1 HP, probably a little more than 1 HP, but and able to grab both their shields back. And then now, come with the Altaria, they come in the Golem. Again, another ABB line, actually. No, I didn't realize that. It was pretty much the same line as the last one, except Venusaur instead of Tropius, which is a little bit harder, I think. I think Tropius is a little bit easier to deal with than Venusaur here. But able to finish it off here with some good pivoting as well. In that situation, I wasn't able to use Stunfisk for both matchups, but it still worked out. All right. So this is a very, very tough line. A line that a lot of people use to climb the leaderboards with as well. Altaria, Double Charm. Double Charm lines in general is very, very tough, but especially Altaria too, because it's just so strong. It pretty much leaves very little room for your own Altaria to do much work against. So I'm going to let this go and try to farm down this A9. Because at this point, I guess I could have fought for switch advantage, but at the health range I was at, I didn't think it was worth it. And then I'm going to try to grab this second shield from this Altaria. They actually no shield there. And I'm going to try to Dragon Breath this down. And here comes the Wigglytuff. And I'm not able to get the 2 Sky Attacks. I'm going to go for Moonblast, which is going to do a little bit more damage. But this farm down is going to be kind of nasty. And then, unfortunately, my Magnezone just does not have a ton of health left to survive these charms. So I just throw these Moonblasts or Mirror Shots back to back. But then here comes Altaria. So not sure where I should have used another shield, but yeah, it's a very tough line. Able to keep it close, but just not enough, unfortunately. Kind of a, yeah, I've been able to keep it quite close in a few matches, but yeah, was not able to finish it off there. All right, so I was kind of nervous about another Altaria Double Charm line. They catch it on the Golem, but again, whenever you do that, you have a very solid matchup with the Stunfisk, so I'm going to wear down this Altaria as much as possible. I'm going to see what they have in the back here. My guess is they probably didn't have the best check to Magnezone. So again, I do a pivot out just in case they have something else weak to Stunfisk. And it's another Graveler / Golem. Seems this is like maybe the 3rd team we've seen with this kind of backline. But again, people love their ABBs in this meta. Double Charm, double Rock Electrics, double Fires. So you kind of just have to recognize those potential outcomes there. My team here is not necessarily an ABB in many ways, which means that you kind of have to makes the team less predictable for your opponents, but I kind of like it because it makes it less RPS into other ABB teams. Okay, Obstagoon, definitely a tough lead, that as well as Vigoroth. I unfortunately didn't have any footage of Vigoroth leads because I only saw those on my Patreon streams, but not in my recorded battles. But Vigoroth or Obstagoon, quite nasty for this team. Honestly, it might be even harder than Vigoroth, just because of its bulk. And then this one gets a boost as well. So my guess is they have another check for the Magnezone in the back, but I can't really do much here at this point except try to grab their shields, which I finally grabbed 1 shield. But yeah, I figured they're going to shield if they had a boost. So I don't have switch advantage, but I do have a shield advantage. And let's see what they have in the back here. And it's going to be a Vigoroth. Okay, so we got a double counter user. So this is going to be kind of interesting. My guess is they have another check the Magnezone in the back. Otherwise, why would they bring their only remaining check there? So I do swap over to catch a Body Slam here. And need to see what they have in the back. It's a Talonflame. So I do have 2 shields here. I'm not sure if I'll even be able to use both. But I do need to bait out a shield with this Mirror Shot, which I do. And then luckily, I do get this Wild Charge, which hopefully KOs the Talonflame, and it does. And then now able to finish off the Vigoroth right there. So yeah, super tight match. But again, against a team that has triple Magnezone counters, you kind of have to get creative. So Sableye, I like to throw the Wild Charge first because you get to it before they get to foul play and swap out. I've noticed actually not shielding for some reason, which kind of throws me off. But theoretically you could also just spark it down, but yeah, I decide to just and then they pivot out here to their Talonflame, which is kind of interesting. So this is going to do quite a bit of damage to their Talonflame, and they are going to probably throw a Flame Charge, and that's okay with me. And then because they locked in the Talonflame here, I'm going to bring in my Altaria, and this is probably going to do a good chunk of damage, so I'm going to shield it. And let's see what they have in the back there. So it's a low health Sableye with a Golbat, Shadow Golbat. So double charm counters in the back for the Sableye lead, which makes sense. But I'm going to go for the back-to-back side attacks. I knew they couldn't sack swap at that point in time because they were still locked in. And then I come in with the Magnezone, and they concede the match right there. Trev. Again, grass leads are a little bit tricky too. You have Altaria in the back for them, but you also don't want to swap to anything because you have a Stunfisk, so you either give up your best counter right off the bat, or you swap to an even worse matchup. So usually my thought process here is you want to whittle down the grass to low enough so that the Stunfisk can handle it if it has to later down the road. So this opponent here goes for the C-Bomb, and that's fine. And then now I actually get a attack debuff. I'm going to come in with my Altaria here. Probably just a C-Bomb again, and that's okay. But and then they have a Greedent. Now a line I've seen quite a bit of is Trev lead with Dugong and Lapras in the back, or some like Shadow Lapras. That line is pretty much unbeatable based on my experience, but luckily in this situation that is not the case. And Greedent is a little bit more neutral for Altaria. Altaria does have a slight advantage because you're resisting the Bullet Seeds. Yeah, they're going to go straight for the Body Slams here. Greedent actually very bulky, able to take out the Altaria, kind of nuts. But Greedent is just very strong with those Body Slam spams. And speaking of Body Slam spams, that was a tongue twister. Here comes Vigoroth, one of the kings of Body Slam spam. And kind of a more neutral matchup versus Stunfisk, but because I have a shield advantage, I'm in an okay spot here. I know they can't get to a Bulldoze in time, so I'm going to just try to much shot this down because I know I had to take care of that Greedent. They tried to sack swap it, which actually worked out in my favor because I had less health than the Vigoroth. Anyway, that was a quick recap of my Holiday Cup team. Again, I often release my lines a little bit early on Twitch too, so if you want to see them ahead of time, feel free to follow my Twitch. It's a pretty fast-paced meta. Not my favorite because of all the charm due to it, but it is what it is. And maybe one day if we get a charm nerf, it'll be a lot more fun to play into. Thank you all for watching. If you like this video, feel free to give it a like and share, subscribe for future content, hit that notification bell to get alerted right when I post a new video, and I'll see you all next time.